Hey guys, welcome to Mr. O's Daily Geography Helper. We're on week 16. This is Mountain Ranges of the World. And just as you would expect, we're talking about the mountains. We've talked quite a bit about the Western Hemisphere, which is of course this area right through here. And we haven't really talked too much about the Eastern Hemisphere because you get most of that in 8th grade. But the mountain ranges of the world on this map are both Western Hemisphere and Eastern Hemisphere, and that's important because we do have a couple questions related to that. So let's get into it. Monday, number 1, how many mountain ranges are shown on the map? Well, this is a pretty easy question to figure out. If we go to our legend, we can see that right here, our mountains are marked by the kind of diagonal looking lines, and so all we need to do is find some diagonal looking lines on our map and we can start to count. I won't give you the answer because you're smart enough to figure that out, but all you do is count the number on there of how many mountains are on there. Now notice this is a two-part question, and some of you have missed two-part questions, so make sure you realize it's two parts. Second part is name the 3 that are in the Western Hemisphere, and again our dividing line is going to be kind of right through here, with the Western Hemisphere being on this side and Eastern Hemisphere being on this. And if we look back at the question, it's talking about the 3 that are in the Western Hemisphere. So we just name those. So we have a number for the first part, and then we have 3 names for the second part. And that should give us full points for Monday. So good start. Monday number 2, name the 5 labeled mountains in the mountain ranges in the Eastern Hemisphere. Same thing that we did for number 1, but we do it on the Eastern Hemisphere side. So this side over on this area. And we just count them up and we label them. And go ahead and put their names right there for number 2. Tuesday, number 1, which mountain range is located in Africa? So we had to figure out where Africa is. And of course, Africa is located here. And what's the name of the highest mountain in Africa? It's asking for the name of the highest mountain. And if we look over here, the highest peak in the continent is marked with this triangle. So over here, we look for the triangle in Africa, and we can see that it's Kilimanjaro is our highest peak. So that's going to be our answer to the highest mountain. Where is it located? Well, that's a directional question for me. If this is all of Africa, it's definitely, to me, kind of in the center off to the eastern side. So I would say on the eastern side of Africa would be just fine for an answer for that. So let's make sure that we've answered all the questions here. Which mountain range is located in Africa? Of course, it would be this mountain range. What's the name of the highest peak? Of course, it would be that. And where's it located? On the eastern side of Africa. So we should be good for Tuesday number 1. Tuesday 2, the highest mountain in the world is located in Asia. Name the mountain and the mountain range in which it stands. So Asia, of course, is going to be on this side. And we can see that the highest mountain range, the highest mountain is going to be located with that little triangle. And of course, it's going to be Mount Everest. And it says name the mountain range, which is the Himalayas. So that's kind of where we're at. I gave you some of the answers there, but if we're using our legend and we're using our triangle, there you go. We should be able to figure it out ourselves anyway, but there's a little bonus for you if you're watching the video. Wednesday number 1, which mountain range acts as a natural border between Europe and Asia? So we have to figure out where Europe is and where Asia is. And there's a mountain range that kind of separates the two. What's the name of that? Wednesday number 2, in Europe, the highest mountain is located in the Caucasus Mountains. Name this mountain. So again, we find Europe, and we know that our triangle, if we know where Europe is, we know where our triangle is going to signify the highest mountain peak. So what is shown in the European area with the triangle? And that gives us our answer. Thursday, number 1, North America has the Appalachians and the Rocky Mountains. It also has the Pacific Mountain System. Name at least 3 ranges in this system. The Pacific Mountain System. This system, if you look down here, our answer is actually going to come from down here. This system consists of the 2 parallel mountain chains that run from the southern California to Alaska. Names of the mountain ranges include Alaska and Aleutian Ranges. the Cascade Range of Oregon and Washington, the Coast Range on the Pacific coastline, and the Sierra Nevada of California. These mountains are not shown on the map. So this is kind of a trick question where we don't get our answer from up here, because normally we would kind of just look over here in the United States, but we actually get our answer down from the reading below. So don't get confused by that. If you're not finding your answer for Thursday number 1, look at the text at the bottom. 2 on Thursday, which of the world's highest peaks stand apart from the highest mountain ranges? Which of the world's highest peaks stand apart from the highest mountain ranges? Now, what do you think that means? Stand apart from the highest. We'll have to kind of talk about that a little bit. We'll do that in a little bit more in class. I want to cover that in class. Friday number 1, what do these famous mountains have in common? Mount Etna in Sicily, Mount St. Helens in the U.S., and Mount Vesuvius in Italy. Any idea? Something that they all kind of have in common. And I don't want to give this one away either. I think that maybe you know this already, but we can talk about that if you have questions on Friday. Raise your hand and we'll talk about that. Friday number 2, which mountain range above or below sea level is the longest in the world? Is it the Andes, the Rocky Mountains, or the Mid-Atlantic Ridge? So if we're talking about above or below sea level, which one of those is the longest in the world? And so, you don't really have a scale to measure here, but visually or maybe just from background knowledge, you'll kind of know maybe what the answer to this is. So that should give you an idea. I gave you some answers actually, and some of them I didn't give you actually too much help with, and that was by design. So if you need more help, please raise your hand. I'm hoping that maybe you're watching this early in the week, and when we get to, say, a Thursday question, and I didn't cover Thursday too much, you can go ahead and just raise your hand on Thursday, and we can discuss that in a little bit more detail. That'll not only help you, but it'll help some other people in the class. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.